Did you know Pedro Pascal wasn't always Pascal? Yep, he changed his surname for the love of his life. And guess what? He's even picked the song for his own funeral. Crazy, right? The more you dig into his life, the more shocking secrets you uncover. Let's break them all down, once and for all. Pedro was born in Chile with the last name Balmaceda, the country his family escaped when he was just a baby, to run from a harsh military dictatorship. Years later, in his 20s, his mother took her own life. Since she was the love of his life and he still lives for her, Pedro was crushed. After losing her, he dropped his real last name, Balmaceda, and started using hers. Pascal, not for fame, but for her. So every time you say his name, you're saying hers too. We all know that Pedro Pascal is called Daddy all over the internet. Some even say Papi Pascal. But in real life, he's not a dad at all. He doesn't have kids, and he's not even sure he wants them. Still, people can't stop calling him that. It's all because of his roles. But thanks to The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, people see him as the perfect protector type. He holds baby Grogu like he was born for it. He shields Ellie like a real father would. And somehow, while doing all that, he looks insanely good. While Pedro laughs about it, he gets why people are obsessed. He says it's all role-related. Still, the internet doesn't care. But Pedro Pascal's big break came from Game of Thrones, where he played Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper. That infamous death scene, where his skull is crushed by the Mountain in a brutal fight, left fans completely captivated. After the scene aired, people started recreating it at events, asking Pedro for selfies with their thumbs pressed into his eyes, just like the gruesome moment. At first, he went along with it, laughing at the weirdness of it all. But it quickly became too much, and Pedro even got an eye infection from all the thumb and eye selfies. But that's not all from that set. While he starred alongside Lena Headey, rumors swirled that they were dating. Although they never confirmed it, the two were spotted together a lot, even embracing in public. But here's the twist. Pedro has always spoken highly of Lena. He's called her one of his favorite people and says, anyone who comes in contact with her develops an instant crush. So even though they kept their relationship private, it's clear Pedro has a lot of admiration for Lena. And if you've ever watched their on-screen chemistry, you can totally see why fans started those dating rumors in the first place. Pedro Pascal comes from a big family. He's the second of 4 siblings and has 34 first cousins. They're so close that they have their own chat group called Sinvergüenzas, Scoundrels. Every day, he gets messages from them, since they all have his phone number. It sounds fun, but it's also a bit much. Pedro jokes about how there are no boundaries when it comes to what his family might ask of him. He once shared on the Graham Norton show that his cousins have no problem passing his number around. It's all in good fun, though. In fact, when he was on Saturday Night Live, he took a moment to tell his family, "I love you, I miss you, and stop giving out my phone number." Pedro Pascal has already picked the song he wants played at his funeral, and it's not what you might expect. In an interview while munching on chicken wings and testing hot sauces, he revealed his choice, Purple Rain by Prince. He explained that he wasn't raised in a church, but by the influences of HBO, Steven Spielberg, and Prince. To him, Purple Rain is the most emotionally powerful and musically beautiful one he can think of. It's a bold pick, and it says a lot about how Pedro connects to music and the things that shaped him. And while we're on the topic of Pedro's unique choices, here's something you probably didn't know. His Instagram handle, Pascal is Punk, wasn't the plan. It was supposed to be Pascal is a punk. During a lie detector test for Vanity Fair, he admitted he considered himself a punk. He went on to explain that when he first created the account, he thought only 12 people would follow him, so he didn't think much of the name. He never imagined it would blow up into the 9.9 million followers he has today. And now, even though it's way bigger than he ever expected, he still can't be bothered to change it. Now, here's something Pedro revealed about his childhood that might surprise you. When he was 10, his dad didn't want him to watch The Breakfast Club. Why? Well, his dad thought it was just a movie about a bunch of kids complaining about their parents. But what's even crazier is that his dad was fine with him watching First Blood, a violent action film. Pedro was desperate to see The Breakfast Club, but it was rated R, so he had to wait until it came out on VHS. Even then, his dad didn't want to rent it at first. Eventually, when they found a babysitter, Pedro finally got to watch it. Continuing with Pedro's unexpected past, did you know he used to wait tables? He wasn't exactly the best at it. In fact, he almost got fired about 10 times. Pedro admitted that he wasn't great at hiding his feelings. "If I liked you, I liked you. If I didn't, I didn't," he said. That approach didn't always mix well with dealing with customers. But when he hosted SNL, Pedro actually played an Italian waiter in a sketch. It's almost like his past job came full circle in comedy. Here's something you might not know. Pedro Pascal is a huge fan of Nicolas Cage. In fact, Cage played a big role in shaping Pascal's career. When they starred together in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent in 2022, Pascal admitted he was his biggest fan. He went on to share that some of his favorite Cage movies include Raising Arizona, Peggy Sue Got Married, Face Off, and Moonstruck. Pedro even got emotional talking about Moonstruck, calling Cage's performance highly intelligent and saying it had a special place in his heart. In a Hot Ones interview, Pascal revealed that Cage's movies were more than just entertainment. They played a part in his growth as an actor. To this day, Pascal feels Cage's influence is in his DNA. And here's a wild one. Before Pedro was a household name, he had a role in NYPD Blue back in 2001 that you probably didn't expect. He played a goth character named Dio, with a pentagram drawn on his palm. In one of the scenes, he licks his palm and chants in a satanic voice. When he was asked by Hot Ones about preparing for the role, he revealed something shocking. He wasn't given any real lines to speak. The producers told him, "No, dude, just make it up." So he did exactly that. He made up the language on the spot. Continuing with more unexpected twists in Pedro's career, did you know he actually had 2 different roles in the Wonder Woman franchise? In 2020, he played the villainous Max Lord in Wonder Woman 1984. But that wasn't his first appearance in the universe. Back in 2011, he had a supporting role as Ed Indelicato, a police detective, in the TV pilot for Wonder Woman, the one starring Adrienne Palicki. The show never made it to air, but it's wild to think that Pedro was already linked to Wonder Woman nearly a decade before playing a major villain in the blockbuster sequel. Speaking of surprises, here's one you probably didn't know about Pedro. Back in 2014, during a Reddit Ask Me Anything, he revealed something totally unexpected. He was a competitive swimmer as a kid. In fact, he even competed in the Texas State Championships when he was just 11. But here's the shocking part. He gave it all up for drama class. Yep, Pedro traded in his swimming career for acting, and the rest is history. But don't think he's lost his touch in the water. He still feels completely comfortable swimming, meaning his skills have stuck with him all these years. So who knows? Maybe if acting didn't work out, he could have been a champion swimmer instead. And did you know that Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac's friendship goes way back to 2005? They met while working together on the off-Broadway play Beauty of the Father, where they earned just $500 a week. At the time, they were barely scraping by, dreaming of simply paying their rent. There was no strategy, just struggling. Isaac shared about those early days. Fast forward and look at them now. Both of their careers have skyrocketed. Pascal is now a household name thanks to The Last of Us and The Mandalorian, while Isaac is dominating the screen with Moon Knight, Dune, and Star Wars. Despite their massive success, these two remain close, sometimes even ringing in the new year together. Pretty wild to think they started out with nothing but a shared dream. Have you ever wondered how Pedro Pascal landed the role that would launch him into superstardom? Well, it all started with an unexpected meeting with Jon Favreau about a new Star Wars project. Pascal was beyond excited when he walked into Favreau's office, filled with concept art for the show. One character, a Boba Fett-type figure, instantly caught his eye. He assumed this was the role he'd be playing. But then, Favreau dropped a bombshell. "You're the Mandalorian." Confused, Pascal asked, "What, I get to play Boba Fett?" To which Favreau replied, "No, he's not Boba Fett, he's the Mandalorian." For Pascal, that moment was pure gold, an opportunity he couldn't have imagined. Little did he know, this iconic role would catapult him into leading man status, opening the doors to massive projects like The Last of Us. And if you think about it, Pedro Pascal wasn't even on set for one of the most important episodes of The Mandalorian. In Season 1, Episode 4, Sanctuary, Pascal was so tied up with his Broadway role in King Lear that director Bryce Dallas Howard had to get creative. She didn't work with Pascal at all during the shoot. Instead, she worked closely with Brendan Wayne, Pascal's stunt double. And get this, Brendan's the grandson of John Wayne, so you know he's got the chops. Howard explained that while Pascal was off rehearsing for King Lear, she and Wayne brought the Mandalorian character to life, nailing the crucial moments together. So for that entire episode, Pascal's presence was mostly behind the scenes, but his character was still there, thanks to his talented double. Here's something wild. Despite The Last of Us being based on a video game, the show's creator, Craig Mazin, actually told the cast not to play the game before filming. But Pedro Pascal, he couldn't resist. He tried to play the game, though things didn't go quite as planned. In an interview with IGN, Pascal admitted that he couldn't even finish a level. His nephews, frustrated with his skills, or lack of them, eventually took the controller from him. But even though he's not exactly a gamer, he jokingly said he might give it a full go. "I'm ready to retire and become a gamer," he said. "I feel like if I do, all systems will start crumbling, and I'll never leave the house again." Also, Pedro Pascal has been a huge support to his sister Lux, especially when she came out as a transgender woman. In February, he shared an Instagram post proudly celebrating her cover on the Spanish-language Yeah magazine. The caption read, "My sister, my love, our Lux," and it was a powerful show of solidarity. But what's even more remarkable is that Lux herself credits Pedro for being a guiding force in her life. She says he gave her the tools to help shape her identity. The bond between them runs deep. He's not just her brother, but also a mentor. Lux's journey has only continued to grow, with her now attending Juilliard for acting and performing in major plays like Hamlet and The Seagull. Crazy, right? Who knew Pedro Pascal had so many surprises up his sleeve? Tell us which fact shocked you the most in the comments.